Lifestyle Pirates with Big J and Adriano.
Okay, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to Lifestyle Pirates. We are here in the studio with head chef, owner, all-round legend, Damian Krigstein from Bar Zini here in Pyrmont. Welcome along, Damo.
Thanks, gents.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Mate, good to have you here.
It's nice to be here.
How are you doing this afternoon?
Mate, yeah, pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's good.
Awaiting the next hour of questions and opening up about our industry, I guess.
No, mate, it's going to be exciting. Now, it's weird calling you Damian because I either call you, excuse me, can I have, what do you think of? So it was really interesting kind of just putting your full name out there.
I feel like I'm in trouble when it's Damian.
Yeah,
I'm the same. Hence why I've just shortened it to Big J. For those people that might not have heard of Bar Zini here in Pyrmont, what is it? Talk us to about it.
It's a little Italian cafe, becomes a wine bar at night. It's quite unique, being the space and the fact that we change the menu daily, hourly. It's been around for about 12 years. I've been the owner for 8 of those. Cooking there since we worked out today, 2008. So
Far out.
decent time.
That's pretty awesome. And I think I've worked out in preparation for this that it would be more tax efficient and cheaper for me to sponsor your restaurant rather than the times that I've eaten breakfast, lunch, dinner there, sometimes in the same day.
Very much so.
But mate, it's a great spot. How did you get into cooking?
It was always, I hate to use the word passion, but for me it was an escape. And that was for me. And from probably about 7 or 8 years old, I just loved food, loved cooking. And I think from about 11, I took pride in serving a 3-course dinner with all the cutlery set out correctly and a little twisted serviette. And I don't know, it was just something for me. And I think from the age of 15, went straight into an apprenticeship and just fell in love. Mm-hmm. And still love it today. Yeah, a lot of people think it's like a jail sentence. For me, I really love it. So.
Was there a cuisine that really sort of sparked your interest? Or got it all started?
I think at the beginning it was modern Australian, which is a bracket of basically being the fact that we don't have our own cuisine as per se, being such a young sort of country that I ended up just falling in love with all just modern techniques of cookery and also classical techniques. So I got into French cookery, French bistro, and then that sort of opened up my eyes to just everything around the world. I was brought up in a very Australian somewhat house, so I think I was bored of just the generic Monday, Tuesday, Thursday sort of menu that ended up just finding out for myself how good it was.
You used the term, it was an escape for you. Were you cooking for yourself or were you cooking for your family? You got brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I've got brothers and sisters. Yeah, quite a few. No, definitely for me, it was just a place in the house that was quiet and out of the way. Really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Awesome. And so Bar Zini is the Italian side of things. Mate, the garlic prawns down there, the bruschetta is nothing short of emotional.
That's what happens in Italy.
Mate, that's what happens when you hang out with Italian. Mate, it's nothing short of emotional. Why did you go with Italian for the choice?
For me, I never actually cooked traditional Italian food, and I realised that more and more once I actually purchased Bar Zini. I came over to work there for an old schoolmate and was just inspired by just how easy Italian food is if you source good produce. But if you end up, a lot of people take good produce and just misconstrue it. But for me, you spend good money, you get good produce, you don't need to do too much to it. And Italian food is just, it's passion. There's just so much love in it. So for me, it was more developing and falling and creating a sort of love for it from French food. I'd done a lot of Asian inspired food, but I think just being so inspired by all the produce that I could source from Italy, from cheesemakers, from artisans, definitely inspired me. Yeah.
Okay. So what is the difference in terms of cuisine, cooking techniques between French and Italian?
Less attitude. No.
Yeah.
No. For me, it's very different. I guess I combine the both. I would say a simplistic look at it is French is butter, olive oil is Italian. And for me, I'll use a combination of both. But I think it's French is all based on very, very rigid sort of technique, whereas Italian will just be a splash of this, a splash of that, and a little bit more olive oil, and just respecting it.
Yeah. Okay.
Respecting the produce.
Yeah.
Respect the produce. So how do you mentioned earlier on, and it was one of the things that drew me to your place actually, is you don't go in, if you went in 7 days a week, you would have a different menu.
Yes.
So one, that's a logistical nightmare, surely.
As you say that aloud, definitely. I just realised how stupid I am.
Why was that important? Why are you changing the menu every day?
I'd come in and it was already like that, where they were providing, the old owner was providing 3 specials, and literally that was all we were doing was 3 specials. The menu was just in Italian, so it was just a very simple 1 pasta, 1 bruschetta, and a salad, and that was pretty much the lunch menu. And I kind of enjoyed that, and I thought, well, this isn't going to really work in Sydney, as we sort of were subject to changes, and we always wanted a lot more change. So I just elaborated on that, and it just sort of took over night by night and picked up. People supported it.
So how do you change a menu? So what inspires you to sort of change it to a certain dish for one day and a different dish for another day?
For me, what I look at is the market report for fruit and vegetables. I'll see a certain protein. Most of the time, it's something I haven't eaten for a week or 2 or 4 weeks. It's like on a rotation, and probably even up to 6 weeks. I think, I'll get some lamb shoulder in. I wouldn't mind a little bit of lamb shoulder, and then that becomes the menu for that night.
So it's pretty much whatever you want to eat. Yeah.
I kind of look at it like that. I go,
That's exactly the way I would choose the menu as well.
I want to own a restaurant.
It becomes like that, because you end up going out and you just go, that was pretty good. I might order that in, or you're at, I go down to Vic's or down to the fish market, and I just see something and I go, we're going to cook that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people are then going to pay for it as well. So
Awesome.
you end up getting your dinner paid for.
So that's it. That's quite an interesting piece. So how does it work where you as a proprietor would go down to a Vic's or the fish markets where everyone goes?
Yep.
I mean, do you negotiate deals with them? Are you buying at the same prices that
most proprietors won't go directly to Vic's in a retail sense of, in that kind of way. They'll always get it delivered and get a wholesale. We're quite small, so it's not financially viable the way I shop sometimes, but I will just only purchase a small amount, and we get looked after. Fish market, we'd probably get 10% off.
Yep.
But for me, it's basically whatever I pay for that product, I just have to adjust the pricing on it. It's not necessarily looking for the best deal. But then with fruit and vegetables, it's trying to buy what's in season.
Yeah.
You're not going to try and order citrus in the wrong season, and it's just identifying and understanding how you can adjust your menu and still make it affordable to the masses.
Yeah, that's probably been one of my big observations. Living here is the fruit and veg is seasonal. Whereas in the UK you get mangoes all year round.
Yeah,
and it's there's not that supply and demand jump in price and all that kind of stuff.
I think there's a lot of we call it food mileage. But being so far away, Australia, that we just it would be too expensive.
Yeah,
I purchased peaches for my son at the moment. They're not in season. They come from the US. They're $24 a kilo. Yeah,
Far out.
He's a lucky kid.
Yeah, big time.
I look at him and think, I didn't know what stone fruit was. It's other than a mango, maybe around Christmas time. But
that's it.
It's
mangoes are Christmas for me. Yeah.
Well, now that it's crazy, they came out 6 weeks ago. Just the season's changed.
Yeah,
so
I noticed
much
the
now.
other day I was opening my fridge and I'm like, fuck, there's a mango in there.
From last year.
I live alone as well. No.
the tree's even up in the QVB as well. I think they went up at the back end.
I think that went up in
September.
August. Yeah.
People need to get excited, mate. So talking about your son, Spencer Samuel.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say Spencer
light of
Martin,
my day.
but that was our guest last week. So Spencer Samuel, he's 4, yeah.
Yes.
Mate, he's a little cracker. He's got
a different type of person. Yeah, he's a person.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
No parent's ever going to sort of talk poorly about their kid.
Nah.
Yeah, this
Especially
guy's-
on radio.
Yeah.
Especially when it's recorded.
Are we on? He's he's a pretty funny kid. He's got a great sense of personality and loves the industry as well. He's been around it and since probably 6 months old. Knows how to wait a table, probably better than half my staff.
You know they can hear this.
Yeah, I know. They know it as well.
Lovely.
So how is it raising a child when you're working, all the hours in hospitality?
Oh, mate, it's good fun. It's had there's been issues, obviously. Running a restaurant definitely has bearings on marriages and different things like that, relationships, and even personal relationships with friends and different things. I realised I just sort of called my sister and hadn't spoke to her in 6 weeks, and
Wow.
yeah, so you realise that it takes its toll. I with my son, it's awesome, but I only get him for half the week. I guess if I was there 7 days a week trying to do it at the same time, it'd be very hard. So it's a bit of a juggle.
Yeah. So when I found out we were talking to a chef today, literally the first question that came up was work-life balance. Is it a thing?
It's very hard, and I just said to my sister, it's what you make of it. I just love the push, and I love to overwork myself, but I'm trying as I get older to understand, to find that balance. Because then you question why you're doing it all. Yeah. As much as I talk so passionately about food, it's about that balance. Yeah. What you come home to. You kind of find your home is the restaurant, and then you come home and you're like, how do I operate out of here?
Yeah, well.
And how are you on that journey of trying to find the balance?
Mate, a lot better than I was. Obviously, I went, my personal life went through a bit of a separation. And it took a few years to sort of find who I was again. And it's every day is a bit of a journey of self-discovery, especially this year. This year's been one of those years for everyone, I think, that's just gone, what are we doing? Who are we? And where do we go? And how do we operate every day? And I think for me is recognising how much good I am doing for myself and for the community, and taking that 1 minute to just go, you're doing a good job. Yeah, reflect. Yeah, that's a hard thing. Yeah. Even self-reflection is a very hard thing with this work-life balance thing.
Yeah, definitely.
If you just always go, you just never sort of see the sunshine.
So, and I can imagine that's a double-edged sword for someone in hospitality, especially, as you said, in the year we've just had. How has Bar Zini, it must have affected the business, how's that affected you guys?
This period of this year, it's been a true test of myself and all the staff and the community as well, I think. I think we're so fortunate to be in an area where we've been shown such great community support. We also, in fairness to all of us, we went into action mode within 2 days. We still laugh about it today. I tried to launch a business called Ragu to You. I created the branding, set up a platform, or half set up a platform, but we couldn't even facilitate it because we were just so inundated with takeaway service from our restaurant. And very fortunate at that we just kept kicking goals, and still to this day, it's amazing. The area has just been so supportive of our emotion. We end up selling not just Italian food. We sold everything through this period just to facilitate keeping on my 12 staff and keeping the brand alive. And all my staff are from overseas, so we've ended up having to getting no JobKeeper and just trying to make it work. Yeah.
Why no JobKeeper? Because they're overseas?
Because they don't identify those people as Australian employees. So they were only give it to the only two Australians that I did have weren't actually physically working there for 3 months before. So I actually ended up receiving no benefit from the government. So we just had to do the old-fashioned thing and work.
Yeah, funny that.
Everyone said, "How are you going?" And I thought about it for probably 10 seconds to throw the towel in and just stop for a couple of months and try and get a rebate from the landlords, but it's just not in our nature. What I always foresaw is the rebuild afterwards and how hard that would be to rehire, retrain, and just to sort of say goodbye to the original staff. We only went out for dinner a week before this happened. And I walked in on the day where all the announcements were made, and all my staff were just like ghosts. Or they'd seen a ghost, and they looked at me and I said, "You all have a job. You now do this. You're over there. You're on the till. You're manning the phones." And we just had to make it work.
Yeah.
We became this crazy little takeaway doing these take-home dinner packs, and it worked. Yeah.
And has that brought you guys closer, you think?
Oh, definitely. A lot more respect for me as well.
Yeah.
They, and not that I didn't have that from my staff, but so appreciative. And yeah, definitely. And for me, a lot. I'm in awe of them. Yeah, they've definitely kept it together for me, and it meant that I thought, after this period, that I would get a lot of phone calls from old Australian employees, and I did, and didn't offer them a position because these guys had stood by me through thick and thin. So.
So you had people calling you saying, "Can I come back?"
Oh, definitely. I said at the beginning this would re-identify and our industry. It would get rid of, as hard as it is to say this, it would get rid of some of the poorer sort of operators, and also teach staff to drop the attitude and to pick up the level of service. I found Sydney service was so lacking for the price that we pay for meals.
Yeah.
This was the time to sort of pick up your socks, and it taught us as well. Like, these guys are paying our bills, and these guys are all keeping us in a job. So respect them, identify that, and just lift your game.
And it sounds like they've come to the party.
I think so. Yeah, we're still here.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I'm here, and the cafe's still operational, the pub's still operational, and I'm physically standing here. And I've been sitting here, and it's just that's amazing. Sometimes when you have a day off, and you go, oh yeah, and you drive past your cafe, and there's 30 people outside, and you think something I'm doing is right. Yeah. And they are as well. Yeah.
And I think as well, I mean, you mentioned about the community. You're not backwards in coming forward in terms of giving back to the community as well. You're always, whilst you're the chef, you're always front of house. You're always greeting people. You're always serving people yourself. You're the kind of brand within the restaurant as well, which
it's a
good thing.
learning curve. Especially even I learnt when I went through the beginning of the separation, I wasn't physically there enough, and I wasn't on the floor. Yeah. And everything went downhill really quickly, and I didn't see it too quick. And then I realised, and I ended up being in quite a bit of debt with the business and nearly losing the business and losing everything. And I thought, what are you doing? Yeah. You need to pick it up, and you have to. That's an operator. That's a good restaurant owner that has to be in touch. And even through this COVID period, I ended up doing these takeaway meals for half the price that I would usually sell them for, because I foresaw this wasn't going to be 2 weeks like they announced at the beginning. Everyone all the naive people thought this is going to be 2 weeks. But I said to my staff, this is going to go on at least till the end of the year. And this was in day 2 or day 3 of the announce. I just didn't believe it. Yeah, it just seemed too big and to make those changes. So I put everything to under $20 for all my takeaway and thought, you have to look at longevity of all these different choices that you make and respect the community you're in. I ended up sourcing bread from another cafe up the road and giving free coffee to any other, like to the pubs across the road, to the operators and all the staff, and just trying to look after anyone everyone and anyone. And I even had some of the people at the government housing, I'd give them food. I had food left over, so I ended up giving them food at the end of the day. And then we came up with an initiative to give food to homeless, because we actually ended up having a lot of food left over. So we ended up now once a week we do 50 to 100 meals every week for the homeless, and that's a good sort of thing to come out of this period. If there's anything good, hasn't been many silver linings to this period, but yeah.
How did you go about that? The homeless side of things, out of interest.
It was literally just having the 50, 60 meals left over, and I can't throw food in the bin. I won't ever serve anything that I'm not happy with, but I just can't physically throw food. And my staff had enough of all the leftovers. Yeah. It had just become, I couldn't hand out the food anymore.
But I think even we walked past a few times. We had your chili sometimes. We had some pasta.
What time do you close?
I was going to say, I was trying to time it every single night, but it just sometimes you'd sold out for the day.
And we pride ourselves on fresh food. Yeah. And I just ended up making the phone call. I'd called this gentleman from Will to Live, a guy called Will, and I talked to him about a year ago prior to this and said to him, I want to start doing the barbecue. How do I start? Blah, blah, blah. And never put it into fruition. Got caught up in Sydney life and running the restaurant. And I thought, this is your time to just do it and put into fruition and stop talking about it. And we gave the food out, gave it to him that week. And then I said, I'll come back next week. And I said, you know what? We're doing okay. Let's do this. And it doesn't take that much effort. And we started doing this, and now every Tuesday, actually every Sunday now, we prepare meals, and it's not just leftovers anymore. We actually physically make the meals for them and collect clothes and whatever else, amenities. And it's been a good initiative. And even all the staff, as much as sometimes they can stress out about getting it done because it's in the middle of service, we all feel good at the end of the day for doing this. And I just think out of anyone, the plight for homeless and for feeding them was just, I think the helplessness. And that's our duty in life. And that was, for me, is to feed people. And I think that's the one thing that gets into their heart, definitely is a good home-cooked meal, because they don't have a home. So that was our plight. And, still feel good about it.
Yeah, no, mate, that's a great. I didn't know that. That's an amazing story.
Well, the thing is, I saw a lot of famous chefs posting and constantly posting. They do all these different things, and I didn't do it. I didn't put anything up for about 3 or 4 weeks, and I thought, you know what, I need the support of the community to collect clothes and different things, because they were forgotten. All the homeless, through this period, people were just worrying about themselves. The toilet paper and anything else. They just wanted to just.
Crazy time that was.
Yeah, it just proved how the lack of humanity. So after about 4 weeks, I said to the girl that looks after my Instagram, I said, let's post that we're doing this, not for recognition, but to let the community know, to support us as well. But we did one post. That was it. Yeah, it's more for us. Yeah, definitely makes us feel better about every week.
Yeah. I want to go back to something you said earlier on about the hospitality industry, and it was on not a decline in terms of the amount of people going out, but a decline in, let's say, the experience.
Oh, completely. Even definitely for me, I saw it by the limited numbers that we had coming through our doors. And I've ridden that wave over the when I've had great staff on, when I've been 110% into it, and I know when I go out for a meal on the weekend, and you can spend $400 these days easily on a couple, and the waiter sees you and walks away, and you think, I'm sorry I'm here. And I will never raise my hand for service, but I just felt the service is so lacking compared to Europe or Asia, where you can be buying something for $1 in Asia for a little meal at a little stall, and they are so appreciative. Yeah. Here, you have to sort of wave them down for a $120 bottle of wine, and you think, I'm so sorry, I just bought that wine. It's very lacking. It's nicer to see now, like as you go out, that people are so appreciative when you go back into a restaurant.
Yeah. Do you think that there is a new respect for people that work in hospitality as well? So do you think the consumer is now more supportive and wants to get out there?
Certain consumers. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. The nice humans have become nicer, and the ones that weren't, it's just still
bitter.
Yeah. It hasn't. I don't know if it's helped humanity at all. Like it's some.
We're very quick to forget, aren't we?
Oh, completely. Yeah. I've noticed some of the behaviours that I've had to watch. I was serving up to 200 or 300 people a day, and I would come home at the beginning of this when they were so rigid, and the 1.5 meters, and I put all crosses on the floor outside, and I spent $1,000 on hand sanitizer at $50 a bottle, and some of the behaviours and of certain people were just out there, and you just think,
go on, give us an example. You're dying to give us an example.
I think I had someone with a cricket helmet and 2 sets of gloves on, and
ordering a coffee?
Yeah, you didn't know where to hand it, which glove to. And also just people being impatient, rude, and I think everyone also being medical professionals as well.
Yeah.
And giving we've been told what to do before, but this has been told, and it was hard, very hard to operate, very, very hard. We kept it together on the surface, but it was hard. You come home at the end of the day, and as much as they were worried about seeing only you and maybe going down to see one person at Coles or one of the shops, I served 200 or 300 people, and I would get home thinking, freaking out, do I have it?
That's a good point, actually. So how do you come down from a day? Because when you're on and when you're front of house, and you tend to know, I'd say, the majority of your customers that come in, like you're on the board. Most of your staff are very good. They know who's who in the zoo.
Yeah, we've got a great team.
How do you just relax, man? Like, I mean, or are you just kind of pent up all the time because it is your business. It pays for your lifestyle. It supports your boy. It's what you love to do. That's a lot of pressure.
It is hard to relax.
Yeah.
I've started going back to the gym now.
Yeah.
2 weeks before COVID, I shattered my meniscus running on a treadmill. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah. No incline when running. Do not
cancel my gym membership now.
Do not listen to your PT.
Yeah.
For me, unwinding, or after this, I'm going to the gym and for an hour, and that really is a nice way to sort of wind down.
Yeah.
But you can't do that at 10 p.m. at night when you have to be back at 6 a.m. Obviously, people don't mind a glass of wine.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It takes a good hour and a half to just come back down. So, last night I think I went home and it took me 10 minutes and I was asleep. But it's very hard to let it go. And now with no travel and with all the borders closed and you're just there.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Looking forward to a break. We're going to close for just 2 weeks this year. We usually close for 3 or 4, but I thought, hey, everyone's in Australia. We may as well stay open.
Yep.
But we're going to close for 2 weeks and just, stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Catch up.
Yeah, not even go away.
Yeah. Because I imagine coming home at 10 o'clock at night and then having to go to work at 6 a.m. in the morning, there's not much time for you. What does that do for your mental health?
It's hard. For me, 20 years in, I've learned to identify with certain behaviours or elements, and hence finding the gym now. And I actually started seeing a holistic counsellor.
Yeah.
Out of all the different medical professionals, and it's been amazing for 6 months. Yeah, she has definitely helped me, and just someone to talk to outside of your life, outside of your everyday world. You can get as much as you can out of your friends and out of your workmates, but sometimes you just need someone who's just neutral, level playing ground, just to be able to say, hey, this is what's going on. And once you hear yourself out aloud, you realise, you do have it together, but it's a lot. It's running these restaurants. It's a lot of responsibility. So
I think there's a nice, by saying something as well. I think just to, I guess, echo your point, when you're saying something out to someone where there's no connection, they're not a friend, family, customer, that kind of stuff, where there's no connection, but you say it. I think that does a lot for you. And I'm not a doctor or a GP. This is just
Dr. Big J.
Exactly. It's got a lovely ring to it.
You could be a rapper. Everyone's a doctor in the rap industry.
Or a fast food joint. But I think that must do a lot of something. And then to get almost, again, this neutral answer where people, again, if you and I are going to talk, I'm always, I've known you for years, so I'm always going to have that vision on. Whereas if you've got someone that doesn't know you, they're going to give you a very neutral answer.
I think it's dropping.
That's more helpful.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and see that we have that professional relationship on certain days, and if we were to go out at I see you DJing. It's just I know when I leave, I'm always going to feel better, and I'm going to have a few tools in place ready to approach the next 2 weeks. And for me, it's better than drinking. It's better than anything illicit. There's no tablets involved. It's just having a chat to someone that goes. I speak to some very successful people and they have life coaches and they spend thousands a week on life coaches that are very high up, and we all have them in different ways.
Oh, look, I think it's becoming the new norm. Maybe it's becoming the new norm, or more and more people are talking about it now.
I think so, definitely.
I think so.
Yeah, well, the initiative with the Are You OK Day, and especially in our industry, look, in any industry, it's prevalent. But being able to talk about it and not be seen as a loony, I have to deal with it a lot of the time through my clientele and also my staff. I have to be there for them and hold them all together, and that's probably hardest out of anything, is just keeping them all mentally stable while you're, some days it can be so hard on you, but you still have to be that pillar of strength for them. Yeah.
And do you have people, I mean, you mentioned about some of the other places in Pyrmont that you hang out with and try and support. do you guys have a kind of an owners or a chefs get together, almost just like a bit of a let's catch up and
we
just
don't.
compare
And
notes?
it's a shame. We don't. Yeah, it's. There were a few people through this period that it did bring us together as business owners in Pyrmont, and we've talked about doing things like this. Just putting to fruition is just hard sometimes.
Time.
Yeah,
Time when you're trying to keep pedaling.
It's most of us, as soon as we've closed the doors for our weekend, we get out of Pyrmont. It's a shame, but that's why I don't live in Pyrmont, because it's just a nice little break to just get on and hang out with my boy. And I always look and I think, oh, you should move into Pyrmont. It's just be closer and easier, but it's nice to have that sort of break. I'd like to also create an initiative where we did sort of come together and do something.
I think running a few restaurants.
Yeah,
to take away
I
place.
know.
think
You
got your
made me
hands full.
think.
Doing your bed.
Yeah.
And do you know if any other places have kind of reciprocated? You mentioned about the homeless piece. That you obviously support. Is it Cala that you support from the bread side?
Yeah. Yep.
You support those guys. Have any other places done similar initiatives?
Mate, I haven't had enough time to look into what they were doing. It was interesting to see how people reacted and operated and approached this and went into action mode. Sort of, it was some people made it work and others didn't, and it was amazing. How does some of the biggest restaurants in Sydney that have a lot of funding just couldn't facilitate that next step on what to do, and a lot, we thank the Lord we didn't have to sell toilet paper out of the restaurant, and a lot of good reputable restaurants ended up becoming these corner stores.
Yeah,
but a lot of them were able to seek the JobKeeper funding, and so they didn't have to rely on making things work. But I was just proud to never have sold toilet paper. Some of these restaurants, I was like, I can't believe it. On their Instagram page, toilet paper's for sale, and you think, far out. But there was no judgment, mate. It was just, we copped a bit of slack for serving Thai food through this period, and to be honest, wasn't my finest hour, but to come up with whatever we could to make it affordable to the masses, we had to do it.
Yeah.
There's so much Italian pasta you can take home every night for dinner. It needed to be somewhat healthy as well. And,
Infinite, by the way, is the answer.
Yeah.
I did notice that you wrote down ragu to you.
Yeah, I know. That was
my staff laugh about these.
So what was that?
Okay, so I'd always wanted to do this thing, business called Ragu to You. Actually, I'd never come up with a business name. So it was just about basically doing braises and all different types of things that have been slow cooked in cryovac bags. Basically, you put them into boiling water when you cook your carbohydrates, whether it be brown rice or pasta or whatever can accompany it, and make it for $15. They used to have them at pubs all around Sydney, and Tim, one of my staff, used to talk about it. They stopped doing them, and it was a good little thing. Like, you can do curries and dals and braises, and I thought, what a good idea. But I thought, $15, I can charge more for food, and and we never did it. And within 2 days, I got the branding and the logo done up for. I called a friend of mine, graphic designer, said, I need a logo, and I'm thinking Ragu to You, but I want it in spaghetti font. And he goes, I love it. And I thought I was such an entrepreneur. So we ended up getting it made up, stickers, pamphlets, everything. Half the online ordering platform didn't actually do it because we couldn't keep up with the everyday trade of Bar Zini. We cook on 2 little campers and 2 electric elements. And we were doing, I think the first week, 150 kilos of meat. And we usually pride ourselves on how many vegetables we use, but we were just we couldn't keep up. A good problem to have.
So Ragu to You would have been cooked at Bar Zini?
Yeah. And then I took over a pub kitchen halfway through the craziness of COVID, the lockdown, and I thought maybe I'll use the kitchen there. And I went and spent thousands on a vacuum sealer and bought all the bags, but we just still couldn't keep up. And I'm only now coming to realizing that I wouldn't mind still actually putting this into fruition, but by hiring more staff. But it's one of those periods, the more and more staff that you hire, and we're going off all the sales, food sales now. Who knows what people's spending habits? Who knows what more further announcements? You never know. There's no security whatsoever. I think what we're all banking on restaurateurs is people spending money within Australia right now until they lift the international sort of travel bans, and then who knows what happens again, you know, and the good restaurants are making money now, and that's a hard thing, is identifying with that and knowing, do I take that next step? Do I do ragu to you? Do I, you know, I bought 1,000 glass jars as well to do pickling and all the stickers and all the branding, and just getting this all done. And knowing, is this the right time? And I think it is for people that are doing the right thing. Yeah.
I think people have rediscovered a love of cooking and a love of food.
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, definitely for our industry. You know, people would apologise after supporting us for 2 weeks, buying our takeaway meals and going, oh, we're just cooking at home. And I said, that's a good thing. Yeah. And most restaurateurs are probably sitting there going, why aren't they spending money with us? But it's good. It's nice to see people cooking, and that's what I got into it. I love it. It's good fun. Yeah, and I said that it can be fun, you know, and because most people, they find it a punish, and they find that it's a punishment by the time they get home, and they're so time poor that it has to be ready to go. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you are at home and you've got time to cook for yourself, what do you cook? What do you cook?
Yeah, I know I do. I'm actually a chef that cooks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love a barbecue.
Yeah.
I like a steak.
Yeah.
A good steak, because I find for the money that you pay for a poorly cooked steak in Sydney, well, I may as well spend $50 on a steak. And people say to me, you spend $50 on a steak? And I said, yeah, a steak. Yeah. You buy it down the road at Vic's. It's beautiful. And just that with some lovely salads and accompaniments. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Job done.
Yeah. I say job done. I probably spend 5 hours cooking salads, all the different accompaniments. But it's nice. It's nice. I get my son and we have a good day out, and then we come home and he's always like, yeah, barbecue, Dad. Yeah. Well, he loves pasta.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't?
Yeah, all the pasta. He's just head over heels. Yeah.
So is he on the grills as well? Is he doing some stuff too?
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's pretty involved.
What does he cook?
It's more the utensils that he picks up for different things. Where you think he went to mix a salad the other day with a lemon squeeze, and I went, oh, we're getting there. Yeah. I always love it to think, okay, what's he going to do today? What's he putting together? Yeah. Or he'll make me a salad, or he wants to make a salad. And I said, oh, you're going to have some? Nah, don't eat salad, Dad.
Yeah. Not when I know what I put in it.
Yeah. No, he's at that age where he doesn't eat anything green unless it's a cucumber. That's it. Yeah. He gets involved. He does. You know, he's one of those kids. He can be watching TV and he hears me sharpen a knife, and that's usually the cue, and he'll run out of the lounge room and come and help me, which is good. I like that. I'd find a lot of kids, even probably brothers and sisters when I was younger, would just sit there and keep watching TV, whereas I would just hear something going on in the kitchen, and that was the spark to get in there. So it's nice it's refreshing to see that. Definitely would never push him into this industry, but
why not?
Nah, I say that as a joke, but these days I think I look after all the stresses and all the different things. I still enjoy it, but I think financially, I think the reward is definitely not there. You know, I'm lucky as a business owner that it's there for me, but for a chef or for a waitstaff member, for the stress and for the workload that's involved, it's definitely not recognised financially at all. Yeah.
So what do you think that's going to do to your industry then?
Oh, it's very hard to say. I always break it down and say to a friend of my friends, I said, look, if everything was relative in life, a coffee would actually be $8 to $9, if not more, to make it fair for us to then pass it on to our staff and to readjust things so that they got paid correctly. Yeah, I still hear of other operators, when I take staff on and I trial a kitchen hand and they tell me, oh, I'm getting $16 an hour, and you think, which world are we living in still that's still able to happen? And you think, what kind of life do they live when in this area, I'm charging $16 for a sandwich, and that person's just worked an hour and washed 1,000 dishes for a sandwich.
A qualified mechanic doesn't get much more.
No, exactly. Yeah. There's a few industries that are just terrible. Yeah.
So can you unpack a little bit that $8 for a coffee? I know you're not charging $8, but I guess for people that aren't in this industry. And look, I would, I get a double espresso most days. I think it's $4. It can range from like $3.60 to $4.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to ask this wrong, but I'm just going to ask it.
Say it.
Why $8 and not $4?
Oh,
when you start to unpack
I said $8. That was probably being dramatic, but it's just if everything was relative for the level of service and for the money that I would like to pay my staff and on the way I feel they deserve what they deserve. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Definitely not for the single product itself, but for what's involved in the attitude, the level of service that goes into that $3.50 sale. Sometimes you think, my God. Yeah.
So the margins are really that tight?
Look, it works on volume. It's more the ability to pay your staff more over the whole period of time. And obviously with 12 staff, it adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
It's a lot of coffees.
Well, I think through COVID, I think one of my busiest weeks, I think, I got up to $9,000 worth of wages, and it adds up for a small little venue. When you tell people your operational costs, they go, really, in there? And then you think, well, how much do you think I pay my staff? I pay all above award. Yeah. They're well worth it. And,
and that's why they've stuck around as well, though. Yeah. You don't have a very big churn on your staff.
No, thank God. Yeah, thank God. That would have made it even worse through this period. I definitely think they're undervalued for what we go through. You guys are lovely people, but there are some people there that come to the restaurant that make it very difficult for these people. And I can have staff walk out the back in tears, just from certain attitudes. So,
and that must be tough as well, because no one. I'm a big believer. No one goes to work to stuff up.
No.
All right, you've got to assume a certain.
Except for you, Seb. Love him.
Let's hope he doesn't listen to this.
No, I want him to.
Nice. That's kind of
love Seb.
Yeah. We do, of course we do. But no one goes to work to bugger up. Like it's not nice when you get something dropped down you. But mistakes happen.
We had that happen to a customer last night. Yeah. I said sorry. Everyone said sorry. We tried to make it work. I offered laundry to pay for if his jacket needed to be laundered. Yeah. And even there's times we're not stuffing up. It takes 2 minutes to make a coffee. Yeah. Maybe 5. Yeah. A sandwich toasted takes toasting. You just think, where have we? And I always imagine myself to stand over that person in their workplace and be like,
yeah, I've always wanted to do that with some
I
difficult clients.
just sent you an email. Yeah. Can you just get back to me right now? Yeah. And you think, have we lost that point of touch of just understanding and patience? Yeah, I tell my son, hey, patience. Yeah. Slow down.
I think that's a really interesting point. I think we've kind of got into this instant gratification piece, haven't we?
Oh, massively.
I want a coffee. It's here now. Well, why isn't it hot?
We've got those. There's so many applications now where you can order your coffee ahead of time. The person still doesn't turn up within 5 minutes, and it's cold. Yeah. But was it that important to get to use that application and to be so time poor, or just leave home 2 minutes earlier? And just I don't know. That's my greatest fear. I always say to my staff is being that time poor in life that I have a cold, bad coffee. I know it's such a simple thing, but you've got to have a good coffee. Yeah, you've got to have time, and especially the espresso. Like it's got to be hot, crema. It's
definitely.
That's it. Yeah, it'd be a bad life if I had a cold coffee and I had one of those apps. But yeah, some people we're so time poor and we're so entitled that it doesn't matter if there's 10 people in front of you. It's all about you and. I won't say that about everyone because that is a generalisation, but it's you identify with it a lot more, and especially over the past 20 years, you watch difference in people's behaviours, and now you just think, my gosh, we're teaching that next generation, definitely the lesser values than what we were probably taught. Yeah, we were lucky to go to a restaurant.
Yeah, big time.
Absolutely.
We put on our best shirts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I used to put mousse in my hair, but hairspray. Look,
You used mousse.
I
So did I.
Mate, two older sisters, they usually did my hair. They only stopped a couple of years ago. No, but yeah, you're right. Absolutely. And I used to take a few toys, and you'd sit at the table and you'd be quiet.
No phone, iPad,
no screen. Take a few toys, and it was amazing.
And you sat down and you had fun.
100%. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you smiled.
But even the whole kids running around in restaurants as well now, and it's like, well, why would you let your kid running around in a restaurant when you've got people trying to serve food, hot drinks? Oh, it's okay.
I just think maybe talk to each other.
Yeah,
Give that a go. Give that a go. Yeah.
I watch it all day. Everyone on their phones, everyone on the tablets, and each to their own. I can't say it because my son doesn't have one. Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
But certain people have to use them. Yeah, I see people out on dates, constantly on them as well. It's the way of the future.
Oh, you must see some good stuff.
Yeah.
I watch it all day.
You must.
That's what gets me through the day.
Do you now have a bit of a sixth sense? This is the first date, or think they're having a bit of a row?
I just always look and think that's happiness.
Yeah.
So how does it work on a first date? Are people still splitting the bill, or do you see?
Oh yeah, what's with that? You don't split a bill.
Yeah.
Come on, mate. No, you don't. I don't think you split a bill.
I've not done a first date in over 13 years, so I can't comment.
Did you split a bill?
No.
God,
Absolutely.
No, I look at you and
I never did.
no,
Absolutely
please.
not, no.
There was never
I still don't split one now.
I'll make her pay.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I forgot my purse. Yeah,
I
of course
watch
you
it.
do.
I watch it.
You said you
heaps.
forgot your purse.
No, that's what I normally get.
Yeah, I always or just a question, when they're on a date and he's like, and how much is? And you go, oh, God,
Yeah.
it's a date.
Yeah, exactly. Splash a little.
Yeah.
We were in a restaurant.
It might be a second date if you don't ask that question.
We were in a restaurant the other day, and this is where Teresa's quite good because she's always got the beacon out, and she's like, oh, first date, 12 o'clock. I'm like, oh, here we go. So you shuffle your seat round, you're like, oh. And the waiter came out. Oh, it's great fun. It's one of my favourite pastimes.
They don't have phones.
One of my favourite pastimes. The waiter came over. Can I get you a drink? And he said, I'd love a pint. You could tell he was just desperate for this pint. And then the young lady said, oh, do you drink?
Uh-oh.
And he went, yeah, I'm going to have a beer. Oh, well, I don't drink.
Uh-oh.
So then the whole conversation for like the next 20 minutes
So
was,
you're an alcoholic.
so why do you feel like you need to drink?
Oh,
And we go,
my
Oh,
God.
my goodness. This poor
It's
first
the beer
date.
test. You've got to have the... I said to the staff the other day, you should be a test. You should always get them to laugh because we've got a customer and he has this crazy laugh. And I always think, like, did she test that laugh before she went on that? Because the laugh is insane. And I'm like, far out. Lovely guy, great looking. And you're like, insane laugh.
Yeah. Laughs like a seagull.
Yeah, you got to take the laugh for a test drive before you go on the third date.
Brilliant. A bit like Janice from Friends.
You see heaps of it there. It's pretty funny.
So talking about the phones, let's kind of get on the social media side of things. Does that help your business?
Definitely.
Yeah?
Definitely. Yeah. As much as I was blind to see for many years, definitely does. I think I spend an hour at least a day at the end. That's how I wind down now.
Yeah.
As probably not the best way to wind down.
No,
but I know. Scientifically, it's actually the worst.
Yeah, I
thing
think it is.
They say to turn that light down and everything, but I spend a good hour every day just seeing what other people are doing and within the restaurant scene.
Yeah.
It's very it makes or breaks us. Yeah, and we're still probably only at 40% of where I should be.
Yeah.
But that interacting with people, the timing of delivery, your content, you're selling a lifestyle now. You're not selling food as per se. You're trying to you're putting that person in a different element of their life, and it's quite a fickle sort of way to look at it. But that's what you're doing. You're making that person be seen as doing something different to others, and that's why you have to as well and interacting with those clients, through social media. And we it's for us, being that we change the menu every day, we have to post that every day. I don't have enough time. I would like to lift my presence probably a lot more and make it cleaner. And you see so many beautiful photos, of other restaurants, but just getting things physically done.
Yeah.
Very hard.
You said about serving people a lifestyle. What do you mean by that?
I think just lifting them out of their everyday life and showing. I look at Instagram and sort of Facebook and the way we present things is showing people something that they're not doing, and just an experience that they're not going through right now. And I think it inspires you to then go to that venue, or as with the cars, like to hire that car or purchase the car. It definitely helps. That's how I eat out. Yeah, and it definitely works. And 70% of the time I'm like, wasn't as great as it looked, but I got there. Yeah, and it got me there, and it was very effective.
Oh, so you check out Instagram now for restaurants?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I do the same thing. It's almost like classifieds.
Even for dishes, we're reinventing the wheel. All these different dishes, all these things have been created years ago. We're just changing different elements in dishes and biting a little bit off each chef, and it's how we work. Yeah, it's adapting. And
You find sometimes some chefs go too far.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, massively. Yeah, yeah.
Where do you eat out? Where do you go?
It changes. Yeah, depends what cuisine. For me, I don't know. I guess Asian style food. I find the cheaper, the better.
Yeah.
When you go higher end, loses its touch.
Yeah.
For me,
What with Asian
Tradition.
yeah, I find it just depends who's in the kitchen, really.
Yeah.
You can go super high end, but
I love cheap Viet.
it's the best.
Vietnamese food is so good, fresh and colourful, and it's just lovely.
It doesn't need to be that it's I go to a good Vietnamese place in Rosebery, not classic Vietnamese, but where he's an English chef with a Vietnamese partner, and he puts his I think he worked at St John's Road or whatever, St John in London, and so he puts his sort of nose to tail cookery into Vietnamese style food, and it's just
Interesting.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean by nose to tail cookery?
So you get served at his restaurant. He cooks a pig's head and puts half a pig's head in front of you with lettuce cups and all the herbs and all the accompaniments, and just shows you how to use an animal properly rather than just the things that look pretty on a plate. Yeah,
I think I've been to this place in London.
it's
years ago.
it's Fergus. I forget his second name. Very famous English chef.
I think we went there. We went there. I remember years ago for a team lunch. Team like Christmas dinner.
Yep.
And we had the pig's head, and then we had this kind of bowl of intestines that was all marinated and stuff. And I was dishing it up for everybody.
Anyone for more intestines?
Sounds lovely.
It's confronting.
It was a little bit bizarre, but I said to the chap next to me, "Do you want to have a little bit?" And he goes, "No, I'm actually Muslim. I can't eat pork." And he's got this pig head, like where the mixer is, where you are. He's got this pig head. I was like, "Oh, mate, can we get something else for this man, please?" Felt really bad, but it was quite an interesting experience.
Yeah.
So what is your favourite cuisine to eat?
It's up there at the moment. It's taken over. Look, I'm sorry, Thai people, because I am a Thai person through and through. But it's almost taken over.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of uncooked fish sauce, that flavour of many years ago, and fresh mint. I was a coriander man.
Yeah.
But now it's been overtaken. Yeah. It's lovely. Yeah, you feel good after it.
Yeah.
I also love. It's so simple, but just Japanese.
Yeah.
Very good sashimi.
Yeah.
Good high grade.
It's a big Asian fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess after cooking Italian all day, and I love it, it's rare that I go home and cook a bowl of pasta. My friends will all encourage me to cook a bowl of pasta, but you want something different. A little bit of zing, a little bit of spice. Yeah. And I travelled to Southeast Asia a lot. I did.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Travel, what's that word?
They said nothing about a boat.
Yeah. But yeah, same for me. So Italian heritage. So I eat a lot of Italian food, or I have growing up. So now it's just always Asian sort of style. Yeah. Vietnamese as well is always my go-to.
You go out to Canley Vale, it's amazing. You realise how ripped off we are in this inner city.
Yeah, big
for
time.
Food.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just no rules. Yeah, I've got a place. I actually got a place in Randwick, and I looked through the window and there was just green tables and green chairs. And I said to my mate, and the woman was holding a baby, and I said, "This is going to be great."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was all planned. plastic. She's holding the baby serving. You go, not in my restaurant. This is going to be cracker. It's awesome.
So when you do eat out, do you find being a restaurant owner and a chef, you have a kind of another layer of empathy, or do you kind of sit there with a notepad and you critique, or do you just go?
It depends. It depends how much you're paying for it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you know what you're getting. As I said, you're just happy when it tastes great.
Yeah.
And she's got a baby. I'm used to when you get Asian, he's smoking a ciggy. He's talking to me smoking a ciggy. He's doing the washing up in it on the floor. You know what you're getting. Oh, look, you can be critical when you're paying a lot of money.
Yeah.
And just that, when I said to you before, just having to wave down staff, and I would never put my hand in the air. It's not a classroom. A restaurant is not a classroom, everyone. I will tell everybody it's not a classroom. Be patient. But just some of those times when you're looking to order, especially order that bottle of wine, you are on that first date. Just being able to, get that level of service. But I have a lot of empathy as well. There'll be, sometimes I had a waitress the other day, very flustered. And I just said, it's okay. Like, I work in the industry. She didn't even understand what I was saying.
Wow.
And I was like,
one of those days.
But we're going to make this work. You don't speak English and I do. And but I'm going to order number 4. It was, you do have empathy. Yeah. And when they finally realize and you say, look, I work in Ospo as well. Or especially if you go back to the same restaurants, you create that relationship that it's all good. Yeah.
So what would your ideal place look like?
Oh, God.
If you could have your dream restaurant, dream kitchen, produce, what would it look like?
The way I want to retire is I've thought of all these different – I've thought of ones over in islands and different things like that, beach club. But I would love to retire with a 20-seater on a block of land where a vineyard, just a small little place. I've worked out it's about $3 million. Vineyard, fromagerie, so I do my cheeses, make some cider from my orchard as well.
Yeah.
And I just do 20 seats, and it's just a privilege to get to that. And it's just market, like it's just straight from your farm to your table, that type of eating. And I've actually set that as a goal with this council. And I'm like, let's get there one day. Yeah, stop talking about it. Awesome. I used to always think, live on an island, live in Bali, live in Thailand on an island, because you've been there once. Yeah. And you think, I'm living here for the rest of my life. But, just to be able to, just to have a beautiful, beautiful piece of land and livestock and just different things where you just source everything. And it's a privilege to get to that table. And I think, things like that are becoming more able and you get a better lifestyle, I think. Definitely a better lifestyle than necessarily being in the big smoke. Yeah. But right now I love the big smoke. Yeah. That's my dream. It's a small little operation.
The other weekend we were in the Hunter and we went to this place called Our Italian Table, which is not a million miles away from what you were describing.
It was fantastic.
And that was pretty good.
Yep.
That was pretty good.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give that person that experience. Yeah.
Who do you look up to in the industry?
It's a hard one. In the end.
Or is there anyone, did you have role models in the hospo or the chef side of things?
It's smaller operators. Yeah, it's not necessarily. Look, there was big names in my head when I was younger. Yeah, one of my biggest inspirations was Krigstein when I was younger, just because he was just so simplistic, and I was like, wow. And then he goes off to poetry. It's smaller operators. It's people that make it work, and I think I've grown even more respect for different types of people through. I used to always look up to the big operators and think, wow, it's all about money and wow, success. A lot of them didn't make it work through this period. It's been the smaller operators that have gone like, good on you.
Been a bit more
nimble. Yeah, so there's no single person per se.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to throw you under the bus again now. Oh, no. Who would you like to go out for dinner with? So you've got a table booked for 4. Oh. Who are the 3 other people you'd like to have dinner with? And they don't have to be in the hospitality industry.
Wow. That's huge.
Yeah, it's a mega question.
I need like another 20 minutes at least. Because people are going to judge you on this. Oh, sorry. Like,
Rick Stein's out.
Well, let's throw Ricky back in there. Is it hot? Oh, jeez. For me, Edinburgh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, Mate, I was so upset that I didn't get tickets to see him. Yeah, I know. I just watched his latest thing, and I think Dave Attenborough.
Mate, that was powerful, that latest one he just done.
It just ended abruptly, and I was like, but how do we fix the world?
What am I supposed to do now?
Yeah, I'm one man.
I cracked open another bottle of wine. I was massively depressed.
No, and even like using glass, like throwing it. Who else? I love investigative like journalism. So Louis Theroux as well. I'd throw on the table.
Yes.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Yeah, I went and saw him. Got to see him and meet him, and I got to shake his hand, and I didn't know what to say. I go.
Fan big eye.
I go. Thanks for being you. And he goes, I wouldn't know anyone else to be. And I said, and thanks for asking all the questions we were too afraid to ask. Yeah. Who else? I got to throw someone else. Oh no. Definitely not Delta.
You could have a female there.
So Delta no, it's definitely not. Let's throw Bjork in there.
Yeah. It should be interesting, eh?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So Attenborough, Bjork, Louis Theroux. Christ, what a dinner that's going to be. Now, this is where Adriana's going to get whipped up. You also collect an inordinate amount of trainers,
I did have a little bit of a shoe burn when I came in. And they were 90s as well.
Yeah, of course. Got to rep 90s.
Where did the shoe love of the fetish of trainers come from?
There was a list of fetishes. And I crossed out 99 of them. Misspent youth. I think just, shoes were just part of where I grew up. It was sort of status, I think. And then, got to have a fresh pair of kicks. It was there. Didn't have anything else. Couldn't afford dinner, but you had some new shoes.
Yeah.
It became, I'm going to get a bigger collection than everyone else. And I've actually just ended up now culling 100 and something pairs and just giving them to charity. I somewhat stopped collecting because I put a pair on the other day. I was having a really bad day, and my mate had said years ago, if you're having a bad day, put a pair of Jordans on and go out. And I was like, I never wear my Jordans. They stay in box.
Yeah.
Everything stays in box. So I put them on and I was like, nice. Hit Bondi Junction Westfield because you have to look good in there.
Yeah, of course.
And came home, took the pair of shoes off, and the whole thing fell in half. Pair of Jordan 3s, brand new from 15 years ago.
What?
Completely, yeah. If you don't wear your shoes in, your
fuck.
Yes, you have to set the glue in these shoes, and everyone tells you to do this. It's storage, it's moisture, and that's why people vacuum seal their shoes. Yeah, the whole sole just came off the bottom, and I went, I've had enough of this shit. We are not collecting shoes ever again.
I've got to go home and put shoes
Clark's.
on.
I'm buying Clark's.
Clark's rubber.
Do you know what it was?
Classics.
No, I think because I always wanted Jordans as a kid, and I got bought Cons, and I was like, they're not Jordans.
We had a very similar upbringing. That's why I got off my kicks. So
do you talk to your parents? My son has a pair of Jordans already for when his first pair were Jordans. I bought them 3s before I'd even had a child, just knowing you're going to have street cred.
Yeah,
you're going to be cool.
Nice. Yeah.
You're not getting socks and sandals.
No. Yeah.
So he's got a pair of Jordans for when he's 13 as well, just for when that time when you think, oh, your parents suck.
Well, how are you setting the glue on these? Well, just going to
You need to wear them.
Right.
You just
so how
walk
is
around.
are you walking around?
These
in
are the
these
ones
shoes?
I'm going to start getting him to do it. Yeah, I don't know if they fall apart. It was just, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was just heartbreaking.
Did you shed a tear?
I just realised you have just wasted a house deposit on shoes and don't have a house.
So what's your prize pair?
Oh, I've got quite a few actually, but yeah, I've got a crazy collection.
Yeah.
I've got about 400 pairs.
Well, I think you're going to get a text afterwards saying
Yeah.
never throw them away again.
Yeah.
And you're on 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, how good's that? I can tell just by looking.
Yeah,
That's scary, isn't it?
Big time.
Just stop licking your lips, buddy.
I actually do. That's weird when you can do it. Even a girl, and they're like, "Oh, that's."
Are you an 11?
I am an 11.
Do you want to get rid of any of his shoes?
Yeah. I met someone the other day as well, and
I'll bulk buy.
He owned an amazing shoe store in Bondi Beach and also in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Do you want these?" And I'm like, "What I want to do is start culling the collection down, refining."
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was young,
I'll help you do that.
I bought every colorway like that of 90s.
Yeah.
You probably love all my collection. Yeah,
I do love 90s.
Yeah, they're not worth anything as you get older. You paid $200, they're worth $80 now.
Yeah, exactly.
Every shoe fair I go in, I put $300 on pairs of 90s and people just laugh.
Yeah.
I put 400 on Jordans. The guy goes, "I'll give you 700," and you go, "I'll take 4."
Exactly.
You're like,
You're
"Why did I put 4? Damn. Yeah, shoes, definitely stopped doing that as much. I sold out as well now. I've bought some Adidas now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry.
No, I'll go Adidas as well. Yeah.
Adidas.
Yeah,
as they say.
Adidas. I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Is that the new rock and roll? Is it the Adidas? Nice, okay. I have to have a little
I
look.
bought my little man. Oh, actually, no, I'm wearing shell toes now. As well.
Yeah.
Not
really?
shell toe, New Balance. I've become a dag. Yeah.
Wow.
I know,
Sneens?
I'm sorry.
You wear jeans with fresh,
I'm wearing
crisp,
jeans.
white New Balance?
No.
Yeah. Seinfeld specials, yeah. Sneens.
Well, mate,
tucked-in
before,
shirt.
before we wrap up, what's next for Barzini? What can we be on the lookout for?
Mate, Barzini Catering. So within the next month, I'll be launching a catering menu for daytime. So whether it be for households, I just did a lovely lunch for someone yesterday. So that's definitely something to look forward to. More of our sauces, pickles, and different things being branded. And then me getting back over to the pub, over to Peachy at Lord Wolseley, and sort of changing the way we go there, and I think turning into dude food, as much as I hate that term, but just make it a bit more approachable to the masses. And even though we did the burger craze, just going into stuff that's just easy to pick up and under $20, under $15, and just it goes well with beer.
Yeah.
I think that's that's it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, mate, thank you very much for joining
Guys,
us.
thank you.
on
I was
Lifestyle
nervous
Pirates.
about doing this, and then I just rocked it.
Yeah, it's easy.
If you're in Pyrmont, get down to Barzini, say hello to Damo, and if you see me, buy me a coffee. I will give you 5 stars. Damien, thank you for joining us.
Guys, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Really appreciate it.
Have a good one,
Cheers.
mate.
Awesome.
Cheers.
So-